All right, everybody, welcome to Brown and Browner. We got the post NCAA, but more importantly, we got the Masters edition here with my partner.
Yeah, actually, spring is here, at least from a time frame perspective it is. I don't know from a weather perspective. We're still getting the fickle grasp of winter in most of the country.
We were 29 last night. We're 92 next Tuesday. So, hey, welcome to spring.
Yeah, just can't even make this up. Such was what we thought the two, blue blood favorites in the NCAA were supposed to be. They were just as fickle because neither one of them made the final game.
Yep.
Duke, Arizona.
Yep.
Duke didn't even make the Final Four.
Duke didn't even make the Final Four. And that was on the men's side. On the women's side, I felt it was even more shocking. The fact that UConn women fell to South Carolina. And honestly, it was a team-laden event. UConn didn't play as well up to par. And, that was that one game that in any season, an undefeated season, that cost you everything. And then South Carolina, consummate team play in that semifinal game, which was one wonderful watch. Credit Dawn Staley for getting her troops ready. But then when they came out in the final against UCLA, they laid an egg. So it was quite crazy to watch. Yeah.
I mean, but it still was chalk. I mean, UCLA and
it was a war machine. Yeah.
Texas weren't some of the weren't as high profile as the other two teams.
Yep.
While we talked about it before the Final Four, with the UConn men women thing, and that's a great possibility. And the field was, like 50% if you bet the field against UConn and all of that stuff.
Yep.
But that's why you play the game.
You
played the game because the day the game is had is what decides who wins and loses. Not paper, not the 50 games you played before that, not your 52 game win streak, whatever it is. It's that day. Absolutely. It's what you come with. It's what heart that you bring. It's the effort that you bring. And you said something that I think UConn suffered from. The women. They didn't play a lot of team. They were doing a lot of one-on-one stuff.
Yep.
And South Carolina was clamping down on that defense. If it was any other team than South Carolina, I could see why you could think UConn should win.
Yep.
But South Carolina is the other team in basically NCAA women's basketball that's at the same stature,
Absolutely.
I feel, of UConn. I mean, okay, UConn's won this many championships, all that, but
I think streak, but that quality of play is still
the quality of play, the number of pros that they put in the league, all of that's on par with UConn. So I can see, and Dawn Staley's one hell of a coach. Hey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
What about the altercation at the end? And I don't care what Gino has said afterwards. You're supposed to come back to midcourt and shake my hand twice before a game? Get the F out of here, dude.
I'm sorry, but my reaction to that,
you're a poor winner.
My reaction to that is going to be maybe of a racist view, but I'm sorry, there's no yesa massa. I'm sorry, it's none of that. Yes, Gino, you're respected, but I'm sorry, this is equal footing. And yeah, there's a handshake thing. Just because you're 3 minutes late, sorry, there's no drama to be had. This is the national championship. You stay classy and you try to keep it classy, Gino. I blame him 100%.
Yep, and you're right. Keep it classy. And if they would have won the game, would he have said anything
exactly. About That's my other piece of the pie. Absolutely. The optics there are huge.
Sore loser. He's a sore loser. And some of the stuff he said about, I've been here. I know. No, you know what? It's not what you did previous. It's the event itself. None of the things you did before that has any influence on what you did. You disrespected a coach on national TV with billions of people watching at the highest moment of the basketball tournament, and you showed the least bit of class, and you're supposed to be the man. Everybody's respecting you, and you showed zero respect for the game, for the coach, for the players. You walked off the court like the Detroit Pistons did when the Bulls beat them. You walked off the court.
Mm-hmm. The opposite.
You shouldn't even be allowed to coach anymore. Forget you. You should retire.
Take the opposite of what happened in the men's game at the end of the championship. Hurley made sure he had his players on the court, shaking hands with all the Michigan guys, even after the Michigan guys were celebrating, of course, and deservedly so, obviously.
Yeah.
But he made sure that was a classy event, not just because, two very respectable teams, to say the least. Fun to watch. It was a brilliant game. Yes, Michigan was obviously the bigger, stronger squad. There is no question. I get that.
Just getting a matter of fact, their best player was hampered, and who knows how that's going to impact the rest of his career. But for him to show up two days after what happened Saturday with him spraining his ankle, hurting his knee, and giving it what he had, That was like Willis Reed doing that for the Knicks back in the day on one leg. And you can see how they rallied around. And they played tough. And that guard, boy.
Elliot Cadeau, I gotta give credit to. I mean, I didn't really respect him when he was at North Carolina. I mean, I thought he was just another one of those guys.
Yeah, that's right. He came from North Carolina. But matter of fact, the whole starting five
came from everywhere. Yeah.
The starting five weren't from Michigan. They were all from different schools. One of which was Illinois.
That's NIL these days. And we can get to that here in a second. But at the end of the day, this guy was at North Carolina. I didn't really respect him only because of the fact that he was just another Carolina guard. You know, you got the namesake, you got the badge. But I'll tell you what, he earned it. He earned it on that game.
They played tough, and Michigan out physicaled them.
Yes.
They outsmarted them.
That was the cool. That's why I give Dusty May a lot of credit. I value him even more as a coach now, not just for the fact that he wants to win a national title, just the way that he was able to meld the talent that he's got on that squad. My God, I mean, that's impressive. That's impressive. And he got them all buying into team ball because honestly, that's what really won him the game. They played together, like you said. They centered around Yaxel. They got him around. Cadeau took over at point, just like
Cadeau was killing it.
You know, Ara was a beast in the middle. I mean, everything came together all at once as a team, which was fun to watch. Connecticut, same thing. They played as a team. Why do you think they kept the game as close as they did? Michigan was out there beating the crap out of everybody by 20.
That's right. And for a moment, it sort of looked like UConn was going to try to pull the Duke on them.
Yeah.
But every time they came close, Cadeau or Yaxel did something to them. They were playing defense in a way that I haven't seen college teams playing. They were all over them, and they couldn't. You know what? They had no inside game. Every time a UConn guard tried to come inside, they either turned the ball over or got blocked.
Yep. Mara and Yaxel, I mean, you're talking 6'7" and 6'9". I mean, there was some beasts in the middle, basically, to block out the middle. And then, like I said, you had snipers on the outside. You guys got quick hands. I mean, it was just impressive to watch that championship game. It was a really good game.
They earned that championship. Go Big Ten. Wish it was Illinois, not Michigan. But I have to say that was a great match. The funny thing was, one, UCLA not getting the respect that they were supposed to get, and I love that Lauren Betts and those girls did what they did to South Carolina after South Carolina dismantled UConn. But the disappointing part was I felt like neither one of the final games was really in the balance.
True.
I felt like both teams just dominated the other team.
Well, like the UCLA South Carolina game, I expected to be much closer. South Carolina just couldn't put up a fight. Maybe they were tired from the game of having to fight through UConn and stuff like that. But it was what it was. And UCLA, frankly, was just more talent on the floor, no question. Between Betts, everybody, it was impressive to watch. On the men's side, honestly, it was halfway through the Arizona game with Michigan. I was just like, this team's gonna win. I mean, they manhandled Arizona, and to me. Again, I was an Arizona favorite from the get-go to win the title because of how deep they were and how much they impressed me during the Big 12 season. Holy crap, Michigan just took him to the woodshed. And that picture of Yaxel basically bringing out the belt afterwards after that game, I was like, yeah, that's it. Belt to ass.
You whipped their ass. You know what? Kudos to Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I had UConn. I was sorry because I could have won our pool. But kudos to Michigan, not only for winning the championship, but they were consistent all the way through. Did they win every game by double digits?
Every game by almost 15 to 20, and then the final game still by 7. But that's because UConn put up a fight,
Yeah, and some of that was towards the end too.
Yeah.
But kudos to them. Give them all the credit in the world. This is for the Fab Five that should have won the championship and didn't win the championship. I mean, so hats off to all of you.
Somebody said it afterwards. This is the best Michigan team that's walked through historically. There's no question. I mean, from top to
even
bottom,
over the Fab Five.
This was
over the Fab Five. Yep, they were deep. Yeah. The guys coming off the bench.
Yeah.
The other starters. I mean, they were just kicking them. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if it was somebody dunking or hitting the tray. It didn't have to be Yaxel. It didn't have to be Cadeau. It was other. There were other guys doing it too.
Yep. No, and so I mean, I think it was interesting to see. After the NCAA tournament, this is more of a media problem. They immediately weighed into NIL and everything else, transfer portal, all this and that. I'm like, why don't we take 2 days and actually appreciate what we just saw on the floor before we start talking about the nonsense for next year?
Yeah,
that's what kind of pissed me off. They're sitting there and talking about, oh, well, this person's going to transfer. This person's not going to be around. Oh, Michigan had 5 guys that transferred in. That's why they were so good. Blah, blah, blah. let it set in first, folks.
Enjoy the moment. Stop looking towards
Seriously.
the future. You know, smell the flowers of today.
Exactly. Now
Plant
on
the
that,
flowers for tomorrow.
yeah,
But smell the flowers of the day.
on that note, let's move to the azaleas of the Masters.
Hey, it's on right now.
Honestly, one of the greatest sporting events in all the world. There is no question. It brings everybody together. It's cool to watch. Yesterday's thing that they do the par 3 on with the families is the greatest thing on earth for me. I was
talking to my son about that. I love that. The fact that they let you bring your kids out there and you know, do some goofy stuff with the par 3s, trying to get a hole in one with a
hole off the water. Yeah,
it off the water like a couple years ago and got a hole in one. Beautiful event, great family event. You know, for a while the Masters was still that sort of country club exclusive thing that I think they've released over the last decade, which has been good. The other thing about the Masters is it brings the best of the best for you to watch them go up against this course, to go against the last 4 or 5 holes and challenge their golf. And I tell you, it's probably one of the best challenges outside of the US Open out there during the season, all majors included.
Absolutely. The pageantry, the pressure, the fact that it's the opening major, everything else comes together. Perfect time of year. I mean, it's just a great setting to be on. You don't even have to be a pure golf fan, but just tune in on Sunday and watch the ending of that is one of the most majestic things on earth. There is no question. Yeah. So
my neighbors are actually going Friday and Saturday, so they're leaving tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
They're leaving today.
Yeah.
I guess today's Thursday, so they're leaving today. They're going to be there tomorrow and Saturday. They said those are the best days to be on.
Absolutely.
Because you can see one is moving day, and you get to see Friday. You still get to see all of the people who are part of the tournament before the cut. They said Sunday's not as great as you think because of, you know, trying to follow the leaders is really hard, all of that stuff. So I wish I was going out there. It's something to behold. Plus, I heard once you're on the grounds, it's not as crazy expensive to get.
It's not, definitely. That's the beauty of it. So this is what I love about the fact of the Masters. Yes, it's obviously a tough ticket to get, you know, in every right. But the minute you're out there, you can enjoy a $2 hot dog.
That's what they said.
You can have a sandwich for $1. Like it's the simplicity of life that's out there that I love. Like that's what sports should be about. You get to enjoy the moment of being there to appreciate the game and understand and not have to blow, you know, $100 to go get a freaking sandwich.
And you know,
hey, baseball, we're talking to you. Hey, football, we're talking to you.
We're talking to every sports concession, all of you, because the reality is this. I don't know how much money the Masters makes at the end of the day, but if they can afford to do that and still make their money, then why can't we do that across everybody?
I'll give you the stat.
The whole concept of capitalism, make as much as you can, take it off somebody's back. I get that. But
I'll give you the stat of the day.
Billions of billions. If I make $1 billion, why do I need to make billions?
So there's a very special reason. There's a very special reason you don't see Masters items being sold on the open market, right? Like meaning Amazon, you know, eBay, whatever, like at their own store. They don't sell anything because it's all on the grounds. How much do you think they make daily on the grounds in concessions? Not the food, just the swag, if you will. There's a good 60 minutes.
The number of people, given what they're buying between caps and logos and sweaters and balls.
Just the prestige of having something with their logo,
Each day, if it's a 4-day event, how many people on the grounds? 30,000, maybe.
Way lower, but you're way too low
for the number of people on the grounds.
Not just for the ground. Just okay. So concessions.
No. Here's what I was just doing the math.
Oh, on the ground. Yeah. The number of people. People.
Yeah. So I could see them making $1.2 million a day.
10 million a day.
10 million a day.
10 million a day.
And that's just on merch.
And that's not just for the 4 days. That's for the 7 because the pre-qualifiers, the par 3, everything else.
Wow.
75
that's when
million.
They let more people on the grounds too.
75 mil for the week.
See, so again, you can make your money without making people feel like they just got screwed in the butt because you put your hand in their pocket and took all their money.
Exactly.
And we could do that across all the
it's not mandated money. You're not charging it for food. You're charging it for extra items that people will have the willingness to go purchase.
Right.
And that's
the normal stuff. You're not charging them for a $2 hot dog. Heck, I just went and got a hot dog down the street. Granted, it was on sale for $7.79 with fries, but normally that would have cost you $10. $10 for a hot dog. These are the throwaway parts of a pig, y'all. Throwaway parts rolled up into a like thing and sold to you.
$10 for a beer pisses me off at the baseball game when I'm paying.
I thought it was 20.
Well, that's Chicago. This is the funny part. I pay more in beer than I do for my actual ticket to get into the Orioles Stadium during the summer. Seriously.
But it's unnecessary. Yeah. My whole thing is capitalism is draining the American dollar, the middle class dollar away because everything is unaffordable.
Yep.
You're paying more and more money for things that really, why? Why is it much more? So a company can say that they made 25% more than they did last year, their best year.
Yep.
Why can't they just make what they did last year and keep the prices the darn same?
Yep.
Still making a lot of money.
You're asking everybody to do with more with less. Well, guess what? That could happen at the corporate level too. Think about that.
So true.
Yep. But no, needless to say, like I said, the Masters is one of those special events and special times of year where you get to enjoy the greenery, the pageantry, the golf, everything else. There are some exceptional groups. Right now, I feel like there's about 10 guys that compete for the title this weekend, which is kind of cool. My money's on literally anyone right now. I would love to see like an Akshay Bhatia win. I'd like to see a Xander win. I'd like to see some of those guys pull it off. It'd be pretty cool. Then, of course, you got the guys from the Live Tour there, too. You got the DeChambeaus. You got the John Rahms. You got the DJs. Everybody's out there this weekend.
Koepka.
Cool. The Koepka. Brooksy's back.
It's funny that, with the Masters, you see the best golfers in the world. If you win it one time, you're always invited back until, perpetuity. The funny thing is there are some names that are not going to be there this time. The Ricky Fowlers, the Tony Finau's are not going to be there.
Yep.
So you're going to see more European players, and I think you might see a European winner this year.
Could be interesting.
Could be Aberg, Auberg. It could be one of those.
Straka, Oberg. Oh, the thing with Oberg, the guy plays great for 3 days. Sunday is done for him. Like I've never seen a guy fall apart so much on a Sunday in the last 10 tournaments. I sit there and I'm like, dude, sitting in the top 3. He's got to have a chance. No, he's in the bottom 15 by the time the Sunday's over.
Yeah, he falls apart like
it's like he goes out drinking Saturday night after round 3.
What's that?
It's like he goes drinking after round 3 and it's like, all right, I'm done.
Well, there are some people who don't know they're better chasers than leaders.
Yeah.
I have to say, honestly, Tiger Woods, if you look at many of his championships,
he's a front runner.
He's a front runner. He can run in the front, and his mystique and all of that made people cower because they were trying to do more than they could.
See, that's where I love Scotty. Scotty's that dude that just turns it on Sundays and just ramps up the leaderboard and chases you.
And that guy can chase you down because he can shoot a low 60 round on Sunday.
Yep, on Sunday. Yep.
But he hasn't done a whole lot this year yet. He hasn't been the number one player that we've seen. But honestly, how can you bet against Scotty in the Masters? He's won 2 of the last 3 or 2 of the last 4.
I find it very impressive that he brings a newborn out to the Masters every year because he's got literally like a 4-week-old with him this week. It's impressive.
Hey, what do you do for a living? I just let Scotty have sex with me and I have his children. That's what I do. It's lucrative.
Facts. Facts. But no, that said, there's a onslaught of contenders this week. There's some cool groups, I think, firing off at 10 a.m. Eastern here.
I think Rory's in one of those groups.
Yep. They also had they had a cool historic group a second ago. They had Jose Maria Olazabal. And some of the old, like the European champions from way back of when, all teeing off earlier. They had BJ Singh teeing off earlier. It was kind of wild. I usually like to tune in. I like to tune in on the Thursday morning opener only because you got the historic event of Watson, Nicklaus, and Palmer teeing off, and I think that is one of the coolest things on earth.
Not Palmer.
Sorry, not Palmer. Sorry,
Gary.
Gary Player. Sorry,
Player. Yeah.
Sorry, Gary Player. And that's one of the coolest events on earth, I think, to bring that history of the game to kind of kick it all off.
I totally agree with that, and I think more sports should reach back and thank those who paved the way for the millions of dollars that everybody's making today.
Yeah,
because these guys didn't make those millions of dollars back in the day. They were playing golf to survive. Like if they won a tournament, that wasn't enough to keep their plate full. They had to go win 2, 3, 4 that year.
Exactly.
So they should always, again, pay homage.
Yep, homage
to those.
I'll give it. So at some point, unfortunately, we're going to lose some of these greats.
Yep.
Who's the next set of 3 in your mind?
In golf?
And so to have this kind of ceremonial event at Augusta?
Well, I think it would be, quite frankly, Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson.
Do you put Phil in there, or see? I've got a different take on it. I want to go Freddie Couples.
You know what, Fred? I was just thinking about Freddie Couples because basically all of the old guys are gone except Freddie, and Freddie seems to make.
Freddie's just chilling, man. Freddie's got that cool gray hair.
Driving some of these young bucks. So that's a good one. That's a good call. Freddie Couples is definitely one.
Yep. Freddie, Tiger, Phil's there, I guess, in principle.
But who else do you have if it's not him?
With
a name like
this is where I wish. This is where I wish we wouldn't have lost Payne Stewart so soon.
I wish Payne Stewart, love him.
That was the coolest character on earth, you know.
See, but I don't want like a Fuzzy Zeller. I don't want any of those.
Oh, you definitely don't want no Fuzzy.
Definitely not.
Fuzzy dice, fuzzy ball, fuzzy nothing. No. Nothing.
But if you think about it, after the Nicholas era, you had one of them's dead. Just saw something on him. Can't think of his name right now. Spaniard. Yeah. Who before Olazabal, who was the Spaniard?
Oh shoot,
He's the guy. Yeah. Seve Ballesteros.
Seve Ballesteros, yeah.
He used to get under bushes. Would have been the guy. Incredible shots. Yeah. He was incredible. Yeah. But he's passed away.
Yep. So Seve would have been my third over Phil in that situation.
Yeah. Now I would agree, but he's not here. Many of the greats who were really great are not here. Colin Montgomery was never great. I don't care about his name. He was never great.
He was Ryder Cup great. That's what he was.
That's not individual tournament.
Yeah, doesn't cut it. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry, you're good at the Ryder Cup. Great. You play team great events. Great. That's like saying you're a great second doubles player.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. You were the great sixth man on a team. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Good job.
No, but I would say, I think you're right in that respect. Now, who was the guy? There was a guy in like the early 2000s that was trying to compete with Tiger up in front. And then he faded away fast. Not thinking the name.
David Duval.
David Duval. Thank you. Now that guy went away
fast, though. He went away quick. He was like the best, and then he was the worst.
What do you think about Jim Furyk?
I like Jim, and the fact that his swing was so unorthodox, like he was Lee Trevino, whatever. I like him.
Is Lee Trevino still around? That's another question.
I don't know.
I'm not into that mix.
I don't want to jinx him if he still is.
Video game named after him. That's how big he was.
Hey, I love Lee Trevino. He was that man. He had the game. He had the mouth. You know, he was the guy. He was the guy who talked a little smack, made it fun. That's the kind of guy you want to play golf with.
Yep. So now they're like, it'll be interesting to see what the new era we say, like, you know, who will kind of supersede the one of the greatest eras in golf, at least with the three guys that are teeing off to get A and all that.
Yeah. So. I mean, if you look at it now, I feel like nobody's held the mantle long enough to really be so great like the ones we were just talking about. They just haven't. The Jordan Spieths.
Yep.
Who is the other guy?
1 year.
Yeah, 1 or 2 years. Yeah. Who is the other guy who hangs out with Spieth, who was really good at one point and then he went right down the drain, but he's starting to come back now. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah. But you're right. No, the eras have gone short. Like, you know, you've had like 3 or maybe 2, 3 or 4 stretches. Even Brooks Koepka, I mean, after he went to live, went away. Dustin Johnson at one point I thought could start a pretty good streak, but then even he went to the left. Yeah,
what happened to him?
DJ was dominating for a while. If you think about
look at John Rahm. John Rahm was going to be that next big name Spaniard to do something. He went to live. What happened to his game?
Yep.
The mad scientist. They actually have like the 3rd favorite or 4th favorite or something like that.
I love watching Jambo just for the antics. It's just fun to watch. Popeye Arms is awesome.
You know, I love the Popeye Arms. I love the fact that he used his brain to try to come up with a way to make his golf game better. Yep. And you know what I like more than anything? I wasn't a fan of his initially.
Yeah, neither was I.
Neither was a lot of people. But what he has done since then, especially when he went to live and you know, all of that, his image totally changed. He's the guy who claps hands with all of the patrons. He's the guy who like is cool and has fun and turns around and talks to people even when he's on the court.
Rumor is that Liv's gonna have to pay him north of $600 million basically on his next up.
They're gonna pay him what?
They have to pay him $600 million to stay with Liv basically.
And guess what?
Yeah,
he's taking that.
Oh, he's taking the bag, and I don't blame him because he's got his own brand now. He's got his own golf channel online and everything else.
Yeah.
this dude's a special character for golf. And whether you like him or not at this point in time, I think he's good for golf at the end of the day.
Yeah, but you know what? We've got the European Tour. We've got the PGA Tour. What the hell is Liv really doing?
Nothing. It's just a money-making scheme.
I mean, how are they making money if they're playing the players?
I have yet to tune in for a Live tournament on TV.
I watched a little bit of it. The team concept during the tournament, I didn't like any of that. The fact that it was 3 days, not 4. The fact that there's no cut.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Let me go
from the game.
Let me go backwards again. So we were going about the historic 3 or whatever. What about Greg Norman?
What?
Greg Norman,
great name, but
sure.
What has he really done in golf?
Honestly, I think he's ruined his brand image.
well, recently, yes.
Yeah.
But and he did that before. I forget what he did or said, but he said a few things since he's been out of golf that have sort of tainted him. And here's the thing: Greg Norman was a great name.
Yeah.
Paul Lazinger, all these other names, they're names. Yeah. But guess what? It's about the greatness. Being a professional golfer is hard enough, but greatness is way up here, and none of those guys got there.
Nicholas, Player, I mean,
Arnie.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Those are the names. Those are the icons. There's the Mount Rushmore. That's why Tiger Woods. Even after Tiger Woods, if you think about it, Mickelson's not there.
No,
it's Tiger Woods.
You're literally at a 3-stage place. All the names we just named are the Mount Rushmore. Then you've got Tiger still kind of in here. He's chasing still a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you got everybody else.
Yeah. Everybody else.
Close to Tiger. Yeah.
Everybody else. And Phil's in that everybody else category. There have been some really good players that have won some championships, but how many did they win when Tiger was playing?
Yeah. Phil, Sergio, all these guys tried. They failed.
But again, they've never really done anything. They've done things. They're that. Like when you talk about quarterbacks in the NFL, you have the top tier, the Mahomes and such, Allen, yada, yada. And then you have that next tier down. They're that next tier down.
Next tier down.
That's what they are.
Yep. No,
and honestly, I don't see anybody besides Scheffler potentially doing that. But if you look at what Scheffler's done over the last year or two, I feel like some of his stuff is falling off too. He had a winning percentage like Tiger.
Well, I think some of that has to do with competition. I mean, you got the Morikawas, you've got the Bhatyas, you've got these guys. Xander Schauffele to me is the consummate standard in terms of consistency right now.
Generally, I would agree with that.
He hasn't broken through like exceptionally on that 1 or 2 phase where he could get on a streak of majors or stuff like that. But he's that guy that's always contending in the top 10, no matter what.
Yeah, he would be the guy you want to bet money on because he's there at the end of the day. Brooks Koepka used to be that guy too. Where if it was a major, not a regular tournament, but a major. He was one of the guys. The harder the course. Well, this is to me, these are where the great players are. That's what made Tiger so great. The harder the course, the easier it was for him to win. He wasn't playing the course where everybody got 21 under because that doesn't show how good of a golfer you are.
He was playing the course to beat the course at the end of the day. Like the field was chasing him the entire time because the field was having such a tough time even battling the course. It's one thing to go after the player, which that happened maybe long ago when you had the battles of the Nicklases and all that and the players where they were going head to head, that kind of thing, almost.
Here, I'm gonna take. Here's my pick for the Masters. So I gotta take Scotty Scheffler. I hate to say chalk. If I wasn't taking chalk on Scotty, I'm gonna take Brooks Koepka.
I'm not going to either one, only because Scheffler's been a little cold lately, and he's still warming up.
He has been a little cold. Yes.
Brooksy's also kind of coming back into the season a little bit. Honestly, I like where Bhatyaa's playing right now. He's been on an upswing. He took a couple of weeks off last couple of weeks, but he's hitting that stride where he's contending every week, and he's that guy that impressed me in the last 2 tournaments that he won, where he just went after it. He went for the W and the jugular. And he wasn't afraid of his shot, which was pretty impressive. If it's not Bhatyaa, I'm going Xander. I'm going Captain.
You know what? I need to get going.
Yep. Nope.
All right.
Nope. Good. Like I said, everybody enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Masters by all means. And we will be back with the recap after the week.
All right.
Yep.
Be well, everybody.